Today, I'm going to show you a horror and fantasy movie titled Wolves. There will be spoilers ahead. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. The movie begins with a college football game where Caden, a young boy, scores a goal, and Brad, a player from the opposing team, knocks Caden down due to jealousy. He headbutts him, causing him to bleed from his nose. Caden retaliates by jumping on Brad and brutally beating him, leaving him nearly unconscious. A dog keeps barking while looking at Caden. The next day, Caden talks to his girlfriend, Lisa, about his growing fear of losing his sanity. Lisa tries to comfort him, and their intimate moment leads to a passionate kiss. Suddenly, the sky clears, revealing the full moon, triggering an unexpected transformation in Caden, who turns into a werewolf, causing Lisa to flee in terror. The next morning, Caden awakens to his parents' lifeless bodies, realizing he had killed them while in his werewolf form. Just then, Lisa arrives with the police. However, before they can enter the house, Caden transforms into a werewolf and escapes. News of Caden's parents' death spreads, and his story is broadcast on the news, revealing additional details that he was adopted. Eventually, he steals a bike from two bikers harassing a woman after beating them up. He goes to another bar and meets a man named Joe, who reveals he is also a werewolf. Caden expresses that he wants to learn more about werewolves, and Joe explains that Caden was born as a werewolf, belonging to a pure breed, and tells him that others like him exist. Joe leaves Caden a map with the location where he can meet more werewolves. Following Joe's directions, Caden goes to another bar. He explains to the bartender, Gail, that he simply decided to stop by the town and was also searching for work. While looking around the bar, Caden's gaze locks with a man named Connor, who stares at him. The bar owner, Angel, becomes aware of Caden's presence, and then Connor urges the woman next to him, Haley, to approach Caden. Haley tries to convince him to dance, but Caden politely declines. Haley leaves, and Angel inquires about Caden's name. However, Caden intentionally provides her with a false name. He reciprocates by asking for her name, but before she can respond, a guy named Deke intervenes, claiming that Haley accused Caden of harassing her. Caden denies the accusation and insists he doesn't know what Deke is talking about. Despite his denial, Deke and his group appear ready to fight. Caden leaves the bar and hides in the bushes, patiently waiting for Deke and his group to exit. Once Deke is alone, Caden approaches him for a conversation. Surprisingly, Deke also transforms into a werewolf, but Caden still manages to overpower him and quickly escapes. As Caden prepares to retrieve his bike, he encounters a man named John, a werewolf, and he offers him a job on his farm, to which Caden agrees. On his first day at the farm, Caden meets John's wife, Clara, and immediately begins his tasks. Everything appears to be going well for him until one day, the alpha werewolf, Connor, unexpectedly arrives. Connor questions John's decision to employ a stranger, to which John claims that Caden is his nephew. Connor accuses Caden of beating Deke, but Caden clarifies that he only attempted to speak with Deke privately after he and his group had attacked him at the bar. The following day, when John and Clara watch TV, the news coverage features the story about Caden's adoptive parents' death. Caden switches off the TV before his name is revealed and then leaves. Eventually, he encounters a man named Carter, who advises him to leave town before the police become involved. Carter also warns Caden about the dangerous nature of Connor and urges him to depart before Connor discovers his real identity. Just then, Connor arrives there, prompting Carter to leave, and Caden goes to Angel's bar. Inside, he encounters a drunk Gail and Angel, who reveal they are sisters. Meanwhile, Connor and his men take Carter to the woods, questioning him about his conversation with Caden. When Carter reveals nothing, Connor and his men have no choice but to kill him. As Caden rides his bike home, he hears wolf-like sounds from the woods. He goes into the woods to investigate and is startled by Angel, who informs him that Connor and his men have killed someone. Caden and Angel eventually arrive at a cliff, witnessing Connor's gang feasting on Carter's body parts. Angel confirms to Caden that Connor and his men are all werewolves like him. Shocked by this revelation, Caden returns to John's house with Angel. There, John reveals the truth about Caden's mother, Lucinda, John's niece. Lucinda was a pure-born wolf who lived in the town until she caught Connor's attention. He exploited her and got her pregnant. To keep their secret hidden, John and Lucinda's father put her baby, Caden, up for adoption, who was then taken by a couple, and Lucinda took her life. Now Connor, who wants a child, intends to have one with Angel because he doesn't know Caden is his son. Later, when Caden and Angel find themselves alone, they engage in a deep conversation. In a moment of passion, Angel leans in to kiss Caden. However, Caden hesitates, concerned that the surge of adrenaline might cause him to transform into a werewolf and harm her. Despite his hesitation, Angel remains unaffected, and they share intimate moments as both transform into wolves. Upon their return to the house, Caden and Angel find Larson and Robinson, who believe that Angel should give Connor a baby to maintain peace. In response, Caden boldly declares that he will confront and kill Connor. Despite John and Angel's attempts to stop him, Caden leaves to kill Connor. As Caden reaches Connor's location, he reveals that Connor is his father. However, Connor dismisses the claim and orders his men to chase and kill Caden. Caden is beaten and falls from a cliff, where he hallucinates an image of Joe, urging him to stand. This keeps Caden moving until he reunites with Angel. The following morning, Caden remains battered and bruised, and John urges him to transform into a wolf and heal his body, but he can't. John asks Angel to assist him, and she kisses him, prompting Caden to transform and heal. Caden and Angel then venture outside, where she advises him to run so that his legs can heal fully. Initially struggling, Caden gradually recovers his strength after running for a while. Caden decides to confront Connor and his men again. This time, he is determined to kill them. Caden plants many explosives across the field outside the barn. The plan is to lure Connor near the explosives. Once Connor arrives, he will surely be killed. Amid his task, he instructs Angel to find a safe place and assures her that he will come for her once he has dealt with Connor. Suddenly, Caden hears Angel scream and rushes to the house, discovering that Connor has taken Angel, Gail, John, and Clara. Through a written note, Connor demands that Caden attend a mating ceremony between him and Angel. Arriving at the hill where Connor's men typically gather, Caden finds John, Clara, and Gail locked in a cage. Shortly after, Angel is brought out of a tent, and Connor declares that the time has come for him to be with Angel, despite her objections. Caden kills 2 of John's men who are on guard, and then he confronts Connor. Connor commands his men to pursue Caden, but Caden skillfully defeats some of them. He frees Angel and runs away, intentionally drawing Connor and his men after him to the spot where he has planted explosives. Meanwhile, Angel transforms into a werewolf and engages in combat with one of Connor's men. She then frees John, Clara, and Gail, urging John to go and assist Caden. John takes a quick route to reach the barn and immediately goes to the top, armed with a gun. Meanwhile, Caden gathers the entire gang in the field just outside the barn. John starts shooting the designated spots on the field, causing explosions that claim the lives of some of Connor's men. Connor notices Caden inside the barn, and without hesitation, he enters with his men. Once again, Caden overpowers them, locking them inside. He then instructs John to shoot the explosives on the barn walls. This destroys many parts of the barn, causing a fire. However, to Caden's surprise, Connor jumps out of the barn, and a fierce fight begins between the two. Caden eventually gains the upper hand, leaving Connor bleeding. Connor then confesses to Caden that he did not assault Lucinda, as they were genuinely in love. The story was just a lie John created to keep his relationship with Lucinda a secret so her father wouldn't kill her. Suddenly, Joe arrives there and taunts Connor for his inability to defeat Caden. He reveals that he had planned everything against Connor, who had exiled Joe from the town. According to Joe, his brother, Carter, had been feeding him information about Caden. Joe tracked down Caden, killed his parents, and framed him for their deaths. Then he met Caden in the bar to tell him more about wolves. And from that point, everything was planned until now, so Caden can kill Connor. Enraged by this revelation, Caden hits Joe, but Joe strikes back, overpowering him. Connor informs Joe that he had killed and consumed Carter, which makes Joe angry. He then attacks and kills Connor. John shoots Joe, but before he can take another shot, Joe tries to escape. Caden manages to catch up with Joe, and during their confrontation, Joe tells Caden that wolves are not meant to kill unless it is for food or self-defense. As Joe arrogantly lights a cigarette, Caden cunningly snatches it away and throws it to the ground where an unexpected bomb is buried. The resulting explosion claims Joe's life, while Caden narrowly escapes unharmed. The following day, Caden awakens in bed with Angel. Later, he tells John that he must leave for Angel's sake, who desires to leave the town temporarily. With Gale assuming control of the bar, John agrees with Caden's decision. Before they part ways, John presents Caden with a scroll containing the family tree of the werewolf lineage for future encounters with other wolves. Caden and Angel bid farewell to John, Clara, and Gale, embarking on their journey away from the town. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.